Welcome to Go Home Heat, a wrestling podcast. We have Justin.
Yo!
The Go Home Heat Kid Ray.
Hi.
Myself, KP. We are rolling through a week of sports entertainment that always begins with Raw. Tom Phillips, Samoa Joe, Byron Sexton are going to be here, and at 10 p.m. my time, the Underground will be involved. Joe is in the ring for a contract signing as he intros the Messiah. Seth approaches with Buddy Murphy, taking it to CrossFit's favorite cult leader. Joe emphasizes that's what Dominic had done last week with the kendo stick. Joe points out that Seth should be the greatest wrestler of his generation, and that should be what he's representing right now, and instead he is representing something entirely different. And just he harkens back to the fact that Seth was the babyface this time last year. A couple of times he gets booed and he flips out, to which of course Seth goes back into his whole
It's all everybody else's fault.
which is true.
Yes.
And
He's blameless.
Always as well. He should be. Seth and Joe. Getting Kevin Owens involved for a little bit, getting Joe involved for a little bit is great for this because they're both so good and they all kind of.
Well, Dominic wasn't going to carry this segment.
Right.
Dominic talking, so you had to have somebody out there to talk for Dominic, or at least be another person for Seth to play off of. Because if it's Seth just talking to Dominic, it's just going to be bad. Not because, again, Dominic impressed me this week with his ability to take an uncomfortably long.
That was the point of this whole segment, was to get to the point where we feel if you had... Okay, so what winds up happening is Dom comes out and Seth says that there's no way he could win a normal match, but I'll let you bring your kendo stick or whatever else you want to fight me, and that will give you a chance in a match with, as Joe pointed out, the greatest wrestler of his generation. And that turns into, first I'm going to make an example out of your buddy Carrillo, which he does in a fairly okay little quick match.
Well,
but then we get, what?
Dude, what did Carrillo do?
What do you mean?
That dude is now just that was a squash, pretty much.
Right. But he was wrestling Seth with,
Just saying.
Yeah, okay, I get it. He's been in this thing and he hasn't been able to showcase himself right now because the purpose of him right now is to make whoever's in the ring with seem evil or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, Carrillo winds up, like I said, he winds up losing, but the real thing is, as they're going to do more damage to, and then Seth does win on a distraction. Buddy gets on the apron and Dom pulls him off, and as Carrillo pays attention to that, Seth can't not pay attention with Seth or he'll step on you. And so then we wind up with Dom trying to help out, which goes south quickly, and then it turns into one of the more awkward, just bad segments not bad as in it didn't work.
No.
Bad as in it was really tough to watch the kendo stick beating.
Yes.
That Dominic
took. Oh.
And Dominic had been spanking them pretty good for a couple of weeks with kendo sticks. And as I watched this segment, I couldn't help but think, yeah, you didn't realize what happened when you splintered that kendo stick on the first blow on these pro wrestlers that have been doing this for a while. And then you continue to swing it like it didn't matter if you hit him.
Yeah.
Because he got
lit
3 to 5 minutes of constantly getting hit with kendo sticks.
Yes.
His whole body was ripped from that thing.
Oh,
and those kendo sticks, they, correct me if I'm wrong, they open when you hit and then they grab the flesh.
Yeah, it's designed to do that because they're designed for instructional in Japanese swordsmanship. And the way they like to teach lessons is if it hurts really bad, you won't do that again. You won't make that mistake and leave that gap and leave that opening so I can tag you with this thing. So, yeah, it's designed so when you swing it, like you said, the bamboo opens up, and then when it hits, it slams shut and pinches, and then you pull it off. It hurts real bad.
His whole... When it got to the point where he handed another stick to Buddy, and he's in the ring hitting him, and Buddy's hitting him from
pinballing him.
Oh my God! And then he's like yelling at Ray to come help his son. What a bad father you are! And it worked, because if going into this you thought, I don't understand why anybody, even Rey Mysterio's kid, gets his debut match at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
When this is over, you think, I cannot wait to see Seth get his comeuppance right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Seth needs to lose this match.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it won't hurt Seth.
No. Because he's not going to win it on a straight loss. He's going to win in some gimmicky fashion.
Right. Ray's probably going to come back, something or another.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, if you didn't hate Seth Rollins when this was over, then you know.
Did you see the girl in the one of the girls in the audience had a "I'm Your Pappy" T-shirt on?
So good.
I was loving it. I was like, yes.
Somebody pays attention to detail. The real storyline. The evil father Rey Mysterio was.
Yes, who stole Eddie Guerrero's child away from him.
Yes.
And raised him as his own.
Yes. Beyond despicable is what it was, Joe said. Although he could have maybe...
Got up and done something about it?
Maybe. I don't know. Zelina says that this isn't fair. She is completely innocent, and Andrade and Dawkins have a match.
I haven't seen any evidence.
Nobody has.
All I've seen is insinuation and hearsay.
Zelina does try to distract. And Bianca pulls her down off the ring apron. Andrade runs into a power slam. This was not a match to be a great wrestling match. This was a match to further a storyline, and it did that. And I like Dawkins getting a win, even though Andrade really needs to start winning.
Yeah, and he's a much better singles wrestler than...
But I do feel like Dawkins could be a good singles wrestler, and I want that to happen, but I know that none of this has anything to do with that, because the real thing we were getting to was Zelina and Bianca wrestling each other.
Yes.
Which was actually great. Zelina is so much better than people give her credit for.
Well, a lot of people don't know that, you know, because she hasn't done it here in WWE really very much.
Right. And she was great. And then Bianca is
a future multiple-time champion. If they don't see that, I don't know what's wrong with them.
I almost think she's a future Hall of Famer.
I could say that and not feel too bad about it.
And has never wrestled for a championship. Yes, but I just feel like...
she has everything you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. She gets the KO. Bianca gets the KOD on Zelina, the kiss of death, and wins with the 1-2-3. Charlie in a post-match interview says that, Bianca says that Zelina, of course, did do this to Montez, and we want all the smoke. Now, it would be interesting if they go a different route and somebody else did actually...
Michael Cole.
Yes, it would be completely interesting if Michael Cole slipped that to Montez. Okay. MVP rants about things being unfair again, and Apollo is a bad... Apollo comes out, and MVP points out what a bad decision maker he is. This was they wound up getting into it a little bit, and Apollo lifts an entire couch above his head and throws it like nothing to it.
Yeah,
to just kind of emphasize how strong he is.
I'm freakish.
And we've seen Braun do this, and we've seen maybe Lashley do something like this, but Apollo at 5'6".
No, yeah, that dude's a powerhouse.
Yeah, and he actually has to throw it upwards to get it out of the ring.
Yeah, it takes a lot more strength.
Yes. Apollo versus Shelton Benjamin. This was a good little match. Lashley had a distraction in there, and Shelton gets the roll up. Lashley attacks. MVP calls off the...
Because he wants him to... He don't want to have no excuses. I'll take that belt.
And I like this whole thing. That's good. Then it's cinder blocks and retribution time.
That door won't make a mistake of crossing them again.
They threw one cinder block through the window, and then in turn threw another one through the broken area.
Yeah. Say you want a revolution? Yeah, I do want revolution. I don't want retribution.
Mickie James is back.
What?
Yes, that's exciting. It is. I love Mickie James.
Oh,
You know what I don't love? Stupid ninjas. I love ninjas.
I love ninjas.
I don't love stupid ninjas.
No.
Right, and we have the Viking Raiders and Ricochet and Alexander versus the Ninja Squad. And this is a spot for the 24/7 championship where R-Truth is dressed as a ninja maybe and rolls up Akira as he fakes like he's going to guide. R-Truth is the actual ninja in this scenario.
Of all the people in this, R-Truth is the ninja.
And you utilized the Viking Raiders, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander, some of the more talented wrestlers on this planet Earth, to get over a 24/7 comedy spot.
Well, yeah. What else would you do?
That's high-level booking.
That's high-level booking. Hey, AEW did a whole show that was Tag Team Appreciation this week where they had multiple great tag team matches. That's crazy. What was WWE doing? Ninja Fight Club. Bad Ninja Fight Club.
Sports entertainment. Peyton Royce versus Liv Morgan. Billy Kay looks to interfere. Ruby tries to protect. Winds up throwing Liv off a little bit. And then Liv misinterprets it as Peyton hits her superior crossroads, which they're calling something like a spinning brain buster. But I'll call it the superior crossroads.
It's better than his.
Yeah, speaking of AEW. Okay, Raw Underground. These dudes get after it. Riddick Moss whoops Calhoun.
What? Riddick Moss gets put over a lot in these,
He looks kind of legit.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying.
But it's weird, though, because he did what he won. Didn't he win a match, and then he went away, and we didn't see him again until yesterday?
Yeah, and he beat Ali on, a main event or something like that.
Yeah, and then, boop, nothing. Asuka versus Bayley will be next.
Did they do the Whoas fight in this one too?
I think we get to that.
Is that in another segment?
That's next.
All right, they're all these.
That's
short
after
segments.
this. Yeah, Bayley.
Asuka.
Yeah, Bayley was DDTing Asuka's ankle though. Did you notice that one spot?
I like that move.
That was really good. Yeah, these guys are.
You can't put those two in the ring together and have a match. You can't put any combination of those three wrestlers in the.
No, they're fantastic, all of them. And then Bayley multiple times tries to do the submission, and you get the old boxing saying where you can't hook with a hooker, and she gets caught. Bayley
pulls her right into the Asuka lock,
mocks the Pirate Kyrie Sane thing, and then Asuka lock, and then boom, 1, 2, 3. Asuka versus.
Did not try really hard to get out of the submission. Tapped really quick.
Rather than being injured, she tapped. Which is the opposite of what champions tend to do when their belt is on the line.
Yeah, which brings up a point later, so that's some foreshadowing.
Yeah, well, correct.
I give them credit.
Then
sometimes they do really good job of storytelling.
This whole month or two since the women's title picture, since Becky had to hand over the belt, has been interesting.
Yes. Now, have they made some wonky decisions like the two no finishes in a row? I thought that was a bad decision, but overall, everything is advanced plots and storytelling. You haven't bailed on anything. You've kept it going. I like it.
Right. And as much as I would have preferred the other endings, where we're going to wind up going, I think I'm happy with.
Yeah, if you can fix this.
Right, which is probably exactly what happened. People got so mad they fixed it, right? Or you could think this was long-term storytelling.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Either way. Raw Underground. Antonio Ruas, 17-time Brazilian amateur wrestling champion, Arturo.
Arturo, yeah.
Yeah. He spin kick KO. He does a couple of the
capoeira, the hand plant kick.
He did. He's cool.
Yeah, dude. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, capoeira, amateur wrestling. That dude's got it all.
And we have the Dabba guy, the 7'3" guy versus
Abba Dabba dude?
Yes, versus some other guy, and he just
obliterates him.
Yeah, he whoops that dude up pretty good. And then Shayna Baszler comes
Gets
out.
in there, and old Big Boy's about to get his bell rung.
Smokes everybody concerned.
Yes.
That dude, I thought this was a great way to intensify the legitimacy of Shayna Baszler. Having her beat him up one at a time, and then as they kind of try to do it all together, she was still able to overcome them.
Yeah.
And it did seem believable.
Well, yeah, and I know that I heard those three were actually wrestlers, so they were just, but that last girl, she was strut.
Mm-hmm.
She was ripped.
Right. And she was the one that
gave her a little bit of trouble for a second.
Correct. Now, Retribution.
Not much.
I actually love the underground segments tonight. Retribution winds up flipping the car. We didn't see the car get flipped, but we do see them standing on the car.
I don't believe that happened. Let's say paid Braun Strowman $50.
Retribution. KO versus Orton. Fantastic. Kevin Owens tries to mock Randy, which leads to his RKO in 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens was great in this match.
Yes.
Orton was great. Of course it was. But what we're getting to was Randy and Rick. And Randy goes personal and evil. And he says, I'm the son you wish you would have had.
Yes. That's about as cold as you can get.
Considering Rick had a child that OD'd or something happened there.
Yes.
Right. I think he OD'd, right?
Yeah.
And considering also Rick has been fairly open about the fact that he was never home.
Mm-hmm.
That he may not have been as good a dad as he could have been. For him to say that was tough. And, Rick crying in the middle of the ring.
Cry, Rick, cry!
It was almost like they were because what winds up happening here is it's almost like they were giving Rick a way to say goodbye here and give you that last performance, and he cuts that great promo.
Yeah, he did.
On Randy about how great Randy is and how great
I'm
Charlotte
just along
is.
for the ride,
Of course,
I'm not that guy anymore.
70 whatever years of age, I love but then when Randy, it's how Randy took care of him.
Yeah,
because normally this is an RKO kick to the head moment.
Yeah.
And he does the Ric Flair shot to the balls, drops to a knee, gives him the uppercut, the European uppercut to the balls. And if you notice, he laid him down, like he grabbed him and he laid him down like he was hugging him.
Yeah. Which is both creepy and safer.
Yeah, because Rick can't, Rick almost died a year ago or a little over a year ago. And then you had him go for the punt kick, but because we hit the one interesting thing about this crap with Retribution, and they've all grown, which is weird. They were under 5 feet last week. Now they're all 6. But the lights flicker on and off, so they were able to turn the lights off, have him running like he's going to kick him when the lights come on. Rick's laying there unconscious because Rick can't take a chance on getting kicked in the head right now.
You can't accidentally screw that up.
Right, and later on in the next episode, periodically when you need these violent spots, they're able to turn the light off, put a mat on the floor, do part of the spot, come back to it. You know what I mean? Which is, it's fine. I'll take it. But what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was great. I thought they did a good job on a lot of stuff.
A couple of segments were good. The Retribution stuff is frustrating.
Yeah, because that was just stupid. And but the underground stuff was really good. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it.
The Seth and the Randy segments were really good.
The Tozawa stuff, just throwaway.
But all of the female segments
were advanced plot lines.
Zelina and Bianca was great. Bailey and Asuka was great. It is advanced.
Yes,
all of that was really good. They flubbed it on the tag. They do a poor job with tag teams in this company.
Yes,
but they do really well with women and with their solo men stuff. Drew was on, right?
Drew came out after Randy. He gave a cut of promo earlier, and he came out after Randy.
Correct, and he was screaming as we cut the break about, I can't believe you would even do this to him, your mentor. Right.
Why not?
Right,
that's Randy's character, dude. You knew I was a snake when you picked me up. You cannot complain when you get bit.
Everything about him from the moment he left Hunter was that he's a legend killer. Who's the greatest legend?
Rick, man. That's it.
And what says I have no feelings like this guy who guided me through everything. Randy's taking out his best friend, or the person who kept him employed, Edge. Randy's taking out Rick. So basically, unless it's Hunter,
well, and they could even get you there because Sean's going to be out next week.
Correct. Sean's supposed to be there next week, and you know what happens. Sean won't fight him. Sean won't wrestle him.
Yeah.
Sean will get kicked upside the head.
Yeah.
Which leads us to Hunter.
Yeah.
Right? And so after this thing with Drew, we may get Hunter.
Yes.
Leading us back to Edge.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And then we're going on to NXT. NXT is up next. Cameron Cross versus Danny Burch. Cross wins in a submission. I felt like this was a pretty good match.
It was obviously that Danny Burch was not going to win this match, but he got a lot of offense in, and it got to show off the Cross's you can't hurt me hardly.
Right.
Which
they keep saying he's in these squash matches, but there is a little more to him in that people do get in offense on him.
Yeah. He eats it.
Yeah.
He looks at you like I thought you were here to fight.
Right, right.
My favorite spot in the whole match just about was when Danny Burch started coming back on him, and Beth Phoenix said, Danny Burch starting to show signs of life, and Cross apparently hurt her, and he grabbed him for the suplex. He's like, not for long, is it? And then suplexes him, dude. And it's like, man, that was just
awesome. Yeah.
Awesome little interaction there.
Right. And this is one guy, like Keith Lee, they do a contract signing here in a second. This is one guy I wouldn't mind with the Hogan kick out.
Yeah.
If he kicks out on 3.5, I don't. Is it a Hogan kick out? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't mind with that because I wouldn't mind him in a situation where he's stunned enough to get 1, 2, 3'd, but not hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you just caught me for the second you needed.
Right. If 300 pounds lands on me, maybe I don't kick out on 3. I kick out on 3.25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm ready to fight again in 4, but it's too late.
Or if there's some way he can get like a jackknife pin on him or something like that, where all my weight's on your shoulders, you might, I'm 300 and something pounds, you might not have a chance to get me off of you quick enough for the pin.
Correct. There's a way to do this without him losing steam.
Yeah. And I love the submission finish. I love the way he tucks his arm to the side of his head. It looks, if you know what he's doing, it looks like he's doing it really nasty, and that it's just, he's so good.
Right. Now, Keith Lee gets fireballed in the eyes here.
Yes.
We have a contract signing where it's different from a lot of the traditional ones where Keith throws him the contract, you use it, and then it turns out that Scarlett has magical powers. We think she kisses the booklet that the contract is in, passes it over to Keith. As Keith opens it to sign it, the fire explodes into his eyes, and Keith is blinded. And as he is leaving, he is still screaming, "Where is Cross?" He wants to fight even though he can't see him.
Why did we stay on this so long, though?
What do you mean?
Why, like, the next, like, Drake Maverick comes out and they have a match with Killian Dane, and, like, it wasn't a long match, but still, like, 60% of that match was in split screen because we're following Keith Lee around while they try to put a towel over his eyes.
Yeah, it was kind of uncomfortably long.
The Killian Dane versus Drake Maverick match was there to get you from him getting burned in the face to Adam Cole jumping.
Yeah, but usually they don't. Why do I care that he's wandering around with a towel on his face? I already saw him get burned. I saw the immediate aftermath.
They're proving the severity of his injuries. If he doesn't get into an ambulance, you don't know he got into an ambulance.
It was just
you don't
wasted
know,
a lot of time.
If he would
I felt like Dane and Maverick did a pretty good job.
I don't know. It was tiny.
You know what I mean? It was funny because then, of course, Adam Cole and his crew go straight to the ring, jump these guys, beat them up. Cole hits his finisher. He grabs a mic and he starts screaming at McAfee that McAfee doesn't know what it's like to be in his world. You caught me with my arms down with that kick. He just, whatever. I hate this program with with Pat McAfee and Cole, so it's going to be hard for me to get excited about it.
No, the only way I get excited is if there's like an extended mauling of Pat McAfee.
Yes.
If they did that kendo stick spot from Raw with Pat McAfee, it would not be uncomfortable for me.
Or if McAfee gets in the ring and can go.
I would be surprising.
If he gets in there and he does pretty well, and if you can do pretty well in this scenario, Adam Cole's probably the right guy to be in there with.
Yeah, he'll make you look good.
He's coordinated, all that stuff. So then we have Santos Escobar versus Tyler Breeze. This is good wrestling, good storytelling. He against the orders of Escobar, Wilde and Mendoza come down the moment things go south on Escobar.
Weird.
Phantom Driver, the greatest move in all of pro wrestling. The Phantom Driver. The beatdown ensues afterward as Fandango approaches. Did you see Fandango break the mop?
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think
classic.
I can't remember seeing a spot like. Do you remember somebody just stepping on the bottom of a mop and breaking it? Like I know I've seen it somewhere, but I think it might have been like West Side Story or something.
It was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, but it was great.
The television show.
It was great. He had one arm, so he walks down there with it because the other one's in a sling.
Yeah.
He steps on it, breaks it, walks down there, hits him with it. Of course, it doesn't work because there's 3-on-1 and he gets beat up. But I like this program.
I'm not disliking it. No. I
like Escobar. Tyler Breeze is great when he gets to wrestle.
Yeah, he is.
Escobar, this was a little more than. I like this match. I like what I'm seeing from Escobar.
Oh, as a heel, he's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gargano versus Holland kind of promo thing is coming. Mia Yim versus Indy Hartwell. Yim wins in a submission. I thought Hartwell looked good, but she winds up tapping to a head scissors arm wrench. It looked good. This was a pretty good match for Mia too.
The ending was good. I thought it was a little. It's hard for me to get into her, but I like the submission finish that she came up with.
You know what though? I almost feel like if Mia loses this match, it would have been a nail in the coffin for her because she doesn't win a whole lot, and I think they like her.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this kid Hartwell, and I want to say that Yim could come back from a random loss when she had. If she's gonna lose to Hartwell, and you're gonna give Hartwell steam,
yeah.
She just saw Yim is standing at an ambulance, watching her man. The whole reason why you do that first segment, you said, why would you do the segment with the ambulance? Yeah. The whole reason why you do that segment with the ambulance is to set up Yim losing the match.
Yeah, but they didn't do that.
Right, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The better route to go here would be Yim is distracted.
I don't have a problem with the ambulance segment. I have a problem with me having to watch the whole sequence of events that got him from the ring to the ambulance instead of just showing me the match and then, we've got Keith Lee here getting in the ambulance. Oh, there he goes.
Are you telling me that he got fire in his face and he had to go to the ambulance?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of like
knew that.
We could kind of like put that together, you know.
Yeah, I didn't need to see the events happen in real time.
But I feel like
this
would have been a great excuse for Indy to.
I agree.
To win the match.
I agree completely.
You know?
I thought that was what we were going with too.
Yeah. All right, Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed. Two big men doing big man stuff. I thought this was great.
I thought the right guy won because Bronson needs the momentum.
The jackknife pin, like you were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, I can't get up off that because there's 300 something pounds on my shoulders.
Dude, and Reed, I like these guys.
I like both of them.
Okay, now we're on to other people I like. Mercedes Martinez, Alea versus Casey Catanzaro.
Catanzaro?
Yes, and Caden Carter. I thought this was good. I thought the little promo where Robert Stone offers the job to the famous girl instead of the good wrestler.
Yeah.
And I like Kat, but
yeah.
Obviously she's 40 pounds. She's
yeah.
limited is what she can do. She's cool.
Yeah.
And you'll always be able to put her in battle royal things and stuff like that where she can kind of get over.
Yeah.
If your tag team division does go somewhere, she can win a title like that.
Yeah. You can do a Team Hell No with her with some big girl.
Mm-hmm. But I did find it interesting. She was the one who had been on one of those.
She's the American Ninja Warrior.
Correct. Right. So she's been mainstreamish.
Yeah.
So he offers her something. I thought that was interesting. But then I as Mercedes Martinez carries them to a win here, I felt that was neat too. And then to see Aaliyah, she's pretty good at wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at the role they have her with Robert.
Yes.
Her running out there and hugging and kissing Martinez, who is so not that. Was so good.
Yes.
And then to have Rhea come down and attack, and then Shotzi winds up helping. The whole thing was...
It was good. It was a little busy, but they did it well.
Yeah, right. Kushida versus Cameron Grimes versus... Holy cow. He's back. Velveteen Dream. And we don't know, guys.
We have no clue.
I have no idea. If you're an internet guy, you know what we're talking about. All I can assume is he was in this match, and it was great.
Yeah, it was. Kushida, dude. Probably the best wrestler in the match. Mm-hmm. Had some really great spots. Cameron Grimes.
I don't know if Kushida's a better wrestler than Dream, dude. I don't know. Dream is the perfect wrestler to me. I hate that he gives me these moral...
quandaries?
Yes, because he did not miss a dang beat. Now, this match wasn't for him to showcase. Right? But he didn't miss a beat. And there was a move in there where it was with Kushida, right? Kushida had him in something, and then he rolled through and turned it into where he would have had the Death Valley Driver, and then Kushida turned that into a submission hold.
Yes.
Which turns into Cameron Grimes with the cave-in stomp on both of them.
The ending sequence was brilliant.
Holy cow.
But...
And like you said, too, give me Kushida and Dream.
That's a great feud.
And let me try to figure out who's better.
Yeah.
Because I know Dream can wrestle anybody's match. Mm-hmm. And I know what Kushida does is just...
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I'm a huge Cameron Grimes mark.
I thought the right guy won.
I thought the right guy won, too. I love him. I think he is,
And when you're in a ladder match or a match of multiple people for some form of a title, having a guy who understands that being the toughest guy in the ring isn't necessarily the biggest advantage when there's 5 or 6 people in the ring is huge. Mm-hmm. Edge, whole career built on being opportunistic. Randy Orton.
Opportunistic.
Right. Part of out of nowhere is sometimes I do it behind your back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grimes' move can be done just like this. They set it up.
He's established it. As a character, he's established it. This is how I am you give me a split second of mistake and I own you.
Yeah.
Kind of wrestler.
Right. Absolutely.
And then you have the Dream heel turn at the end of it.
Right. Dream winds up slapping Sheet upside the head, and then Finn comes out and they're nose to nose, and we're going to get them next week. I assume Finn goes over.
That match is phenomenal. I can't go wrong with that one. And what's the other one I get? I get
Gargano Rich Holland.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
And Rich Holland has got a lot. Now, we did have a segment in there that I skipped over, not because it wasn't interesting, because the Gargano house segments are something, boy.
Yeah, they're funny.
She was reading something really weird to her.
She's talking about Tegan Knox.
Was it her dog or her cat that she was reading to?
Her dog, her French bulldog.
And then the screen goes all weird.
Uh-huh.
And she flips out even more.
Yeah.
And then Gargano kind of mocks her for that, but then the screen goes weird on him, and he does. Dude, what a weird household.
Yeah. They need to get their electricity checked.
But I do find those segments good.
Mm-hmm.
And it has given... My problem with LeRae has always been I never felt like she had a personality.
Now she's got a personality.
Right. Playing off of her husband, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's cool to see a couple in that environment. Mm-hmm. The environment everybody has when they get home, where they kind of complain a little bit here and there about work, except their version of it is...
Psycho.
Right. Which, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, it is awesome. Good episode?
Yeah, very good episode.
I liked it too. I had a good time. Moving on to SmackDown, which is becoming a good part of my week. I've been enjoying these ones. Did I enjoy tonight's episode? Mm-mm. That'll be a good question. Retribution better not attack. 2 bodyguards are guarding the only entrance to the building.
Yes.
Weighing in at 217 pounds are
combined
2 bodyguards.
With their clothes and wallets.
Yes. Okay, Big E versus Morrison. But wait! Oh, Biggie does do a Y'all Must Have Forgot promo, a Roy
Yeah.
Jones Jr. reference, which is nice. And because he was an NXT champion and he's a multiple champion. Otherwise, he's won, I think, the IC belt. I think he said IC belt. Okay, and Morrison says, you're getting pushed basically because none of your friends are here.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Then the match does not actually happen because Retribution has grown.
Yeah. Human growth hormones being used here.
They've grown not only physically, but in number as well.
Yes.
Now it looks to be 10-ish of them.
Yeah.
And they all seem to be 6 foot.
A lot of them.
Which last week they were 5'6".
Yes.
It's interesting how that could happen. I like this.
This was better.
You said it. They actually jumped formidable people by surrounding them and attacking. It made sense.
Then they dipped.
Which is, again, making sense. People don't have time to get the upper hand on them. It's something that maybe if you had ninjas,
you would do.
Akira,
yeah,
you might want to take notes on this. They seem to be...
Well, and recruit ninjas who are a little bigger.
And maybe coordinated.
Yeah, and actually know martial arts.
Yes. Okay. So then we wind up backstage, and Big E will not be letting the Foot Clan Turtles stop him. The Foot Clan from the Ninja Turtle series stop him. He gives a good little speech. All of them give good speeches here. Baron did well in what he had to say, saying that those guys aren't leaders. Big E did even better, and then Sheamus trumps them all when he comes in and says, I got goosebumps off your speech. That's great, but they won't bother me when I get to the ring. Which is interesting. I felt like, and it leads me to believe that something may be...
It's a little ham-fisted, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sasha and Bayley are in the ring next, and they're going to introduce the Battle Royale. They're the ring announcers. They are irritating. They introduced we wound up with Iconics, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart, Lacey Evans. Surprise visit was Asuka.
Oh, dude, I loved when they were like, wait a minute. Yeah, y'all made a mistake. You put the wrong person on here.
Right, exactly, because you were like, well, who could they... Nobody thought she'd be in the match. Okay.
No.
Then, of course, we cut to commercial, come back, and everybody's in the ring. Liv, Ruby, Bliss, Naomi, Nikki,
Shayna,
Tamina Snuka, Dana Brooks, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. Ruby's the first to get knocked out. We go all the way through this. It's done really well. Bianca gets to really showcase who she is.
Yeah.
Tegan Knox gets to showcase... Was it Tegan Knox?
In the last
Tegan
3.
Knox gets to be in the last 3, except for
Dana Brooks
was hiding outside the ring.
Yeah.
But that allowed them to get Knox out of there without
hurting her character
at all.
Yeah.
And then she gets put on the ring apron. Asuka puts her out, and then we have a one-on-one style of match. They do a neat little slide around the two wrestlers to kind of steer each other, kind of let you know we're going into another part of the show.
Yes.
Turn the page, the chapter's over. Then they engage. Shayna gets the upper hand, gets Asuka onto the apron. Bayley tries to pull Asuka down because Bayley has just lost to Asuka. Asuka pulls free. Asuka does a knee swipe over both of them on the ring apron, knocks them both onto the ground.
Yeah.
Baszler takes advantage, hits Asuka. Asuka manages to land perfectly on them.
Yes.
Get on the ring apron, get into it again with...
Baszler gets her in the rear naked, the Careful clutch, whatever you want to call it, but...
Asuka manages to
use
slide her over the ring by using the ropes and then slide herself into the ring while rolling Baszler onto the ground. The last... I would go back to... Dude, this was really well done.
Oh,
the whole Battle Royal
was
well done.
Yeah.
You furthered storylines between Naomi and Lacey. You furthered storylines between the Iconics and the Riot Squad. You furthered Bianca as a star and formidable force. Bayley even said a couple of times, I need her to get eliminated. I don't want to face her.
Yeah. Sold her.
And we have Asuka now, who will be wrestling for 2 belts. And Bayley backstage mentions that next time she fights her, she'll be fighting for something that's important.
Yeah.
Saying that fighting for Sasha isn't.
Yes.
If you just
saw the look on Sasha's face, too.
Asuka jumps her backstage. Asuka's ready for both of them. And the funny thing, when you said before they even announced Asuka, we were sitting around watching it, you said at some point somebody's going to go triple champ.
Well, if you go, you've had so many double champs now.
Right. And then, lo and behold, 4 minutes after you say that, Asuka comes out, and suddenly she'll be wrestling for 2 belts.
Mm-hmm.
And in the women's division, there is a tag division as well. She could literally come out of all of this, because they've already said that Sasha and Bayley will have to wrestle at the pay-per-view following SummerSlam as tag team champs.
What if Asuka and Shayna Baszler team up?
What about this? That's very interesting, by the way. What about Sasha or Bayley won, losing the first match? The other one coming out and not meaning to cost them, but costing them the second match.
Yeah.
Asuka's got both belts.
Yeah.
Now they got to be tag team partners against Asuka and somebody formidable.
Yeah.
And they don't trust each other, or they're irritated with each other.
Yes.
And you can go into a whole program with those two not involved in the belts against each other after they lose the tag titles.
Yes.
And roll like that.
Uh-huh.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun, right?
Like it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, pause it.
Then we wind up with Mandy giving what I thought was a pretty good promo considering the corner she's backed into.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to paint everybody tells me I'm pretty as being mistreated.
As a bad thing.
Correct. But I do get it.
Mm-hmm.
She puts herself through college working 3 jobs while still winning bikini contests, being a fitness model, then manages to get into the WWE, which isn't easy, and then winds up ascending to becoming an important part of these storylines, and yet nobody ever sees past the obvious things. So I get where she's coming from. I also think it's very hard for somebody like her to seem to get sympathy.
Yes.
But she did do as good a job as she could of it. And the anger allows her to say hair versus hair match.
Uh-huh.
And I was excited because I called that.
You called that dead on. As soon as they did the hair clip, you were like, yep.
It's a hair versus hair match.
Yeah. You knew.
I knew it. And I cannot wait. And I'll just go ahead and skip to the chase. DeVille winds up accepting. If you watch DeVille, you can tell that her hair probably needs cutting a little bit. It's a little long. She keeps pulling it around in front of her when she's backstage, which is something she didn't normally do.
No.
Which leads me to believe, I also feel like she has the unique facial qualities to look good with a crew cut.
Oh, dude, yeah, she's going to go full, Sinead O'Connor 90s, which was awesome.
I also think she will look a great deal like Lex Luthor in a black suit with a black undershirt.
Very villainous.
Which I think will be great. And I don't mean that in a she will not look good kind of way.
No, she'll make that work.
She'll look perfect.
Yeah.
She's going to be I feel like she will lose this match and be incredibly formidable looking and formidable going forward.
Yes.
By losing this match, she's going to get the most eyes on her that she could.
Yes.
If she wins this match, the eyes wind up on Mandy.
Yeah.
Because Mandy's the one who gets her haircut.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, the weirdness of wrestling, right?
Yes.
If she wins, it's going to hurt her. If she loses, it gives her a chance to really do something with that spotlight. Right. Okay. So we get Alexa and Nikki backstage, and Alexa wants nothing to do with her really, and not in a mean way, just things have changed, whatever. Sheamus versus Shorty G, and we get a good little match. Sheamus is in a great rhythm right now. He gets the win. Shorty is kind of searching for himself, which will pop up again in a backstage segment later. Abyss, Joseph Parks,
baby, making an
TNA
appearance.
Hall of Famer, Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer, is now backstage working with AJ Styles. He is a numbers cruncher. We don't believe he'll be an in-ring performer.
No.
But he and AJ have a long history of working together. And so they go to the ring. AJ lets everybody know that he's a stat guy. He's a very good-looking nerd.
Yeah.
And by golly, he lays it on thick with that southern accent, and he does perfect here. No one has the statistics to wrestle him.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy's music hits. Jeff comes out and gives his. Could we call Jeff awkward cool?
I mean, you could add cool to that.
He's a human
Something of
charismatic enigma. Yes, something like phenomenal. Yes, LL Cool J. Yes. Okay, so he does. AJ says, "I want to fight you," and they both talk glowingly about one another's accomplishments, which is all true. They're both fantastically accomplished wrestlers. They're both great wrestlers. This match is going to be great. AJ says, after telling him how great he is, he said there's no way he wants to wrestle him.
You haven't heard nothing.
Says something about, I appreciate what you've been through, but this isn't a pity party. He doesn't get party out before Jeff punched him. Jeff writes in marker Jeff Hardy and then draws like a weird kind of arty picture of his face, scribble autograph thing on it onto the whiteboard, ruining the whiteboard because we find out when they get backstage.
Permanent marker. What a heel.
AJ's comedic timing in all of these things is so underrated.
Oh, he is.
Backstage when he's telling Kayla that, I'm going to erase Jeff Hardy I'm going to erase Jeff Hardy just like this, and he turns and tries to erase it with his hand, and it won't come off, and so he uses his jacket and then his shirt, and it won't come off, and he looks at Parks and says, "Permanent ink, really?" And Parks apologizes. So good. So good. Okay. And so then we wind up with Shinsuke and Cesaro are going to wrestle.
No, it's just Shinsuke versus Grand Metalik.
Right. Shinsuke and Cesaro get their title stolen.
Yes.
Which is, we'll just skip that. And then move on to Grand Metalik and Shinsuke wrestling. And this is going to be a good little match. The point of it, though, is to promote
Return of Kalisto.
Which gives them, I think it's notable that they're wearing some form of gold and black or gold and white.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the collision of a bunch of colors right now. I think they're trying to move them into a more serious light.
Yes.
While keeping the incredible movesets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Kalisto being introduced, Kalisto looks great.
Oh, man, he's ripped.
Yeah.
Shredded.
And then they do a quick combo DDT on Cesaro outside of the ring, which gets a distraction for Shinsuke to lose. We're setting up those guys versus Cesaro and Sheamus, and I'm all for any match with that level of talent involved. Yeah, this is going to be good. Okay, Corbin jumps. Oh, how did Corbin get to Riddle? Okay, Riddle is doing a backstage segment again with Kayla, and he asks her if he can call. Riddle wants to know if he can call her dude, which
bro,
correct. Dude would be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bro would be his. Okay. I get us mixed up.
The resemblance is uncanny.
It is. Well, the athleticism.
Yes.
I just eat more than he does.
A little bit.
Okay. Okay, but anyway, Shorty G, Chad Gable, comes up and apologizes about trying to hurt him the week before. That's not who he is as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Feels
really embarrassed.
He's embarrassed. This is awful.
Got kids to feed.
Forgive me. Stole Heath's line. Yeah. Stole Heath Slater's line, which is the real heel turn. And then, as Matt says, I understand, but you ever want to fight, just let me know. We'll fight. And that's when Corbin jumps in from behind and thanks Chad for helping. Corbin lets Matt know that you're going to have to be a little more alert around here than you seem to be. And I thought this was all well done. And I don't know for sure if Chad meant to do it. Which I think makes it even better.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
Little doubt.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Then they wind up doing a thing with Alexa, an interview where she describes her relationship with Braun.
Again, telling the story you talked about of her humanizing him as a character and everything.
Correct. Filling in the blanks for everybody if somebody doesn't know. But then the weird thing is when they ask her about being alone with the Fiend, she uses these scary terms and then she uses exhilarating.
Mm-hmm.
And then she moves to the Moth to a Flame
content.
Which is I think Moth to a Flame is also the NXT song for the takeover next week.
Oh, nice.
Which I think they might have missed a mark there. They should have put it with SummerSlam. Although I don't know, the biggest party of the summer can do Metallica Moth to a Flame as it can, but it can and should. But
yes,
it's probably going to be some form of Flo Rida.
Yeah.
And
oh wow,
worldwide. What's his name?
Pitbull?
Pitbull.
Please no.
Pitbull and Flo Rida
No.
are right now working hard at giving us SummerSlam. I've seen Pitbull and Flo Rida live. You know where?
Where?
WrestleMania.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. It was.
It happened. That's the thing that happened.
It's fun, Okay. Now she's asked at the end about Braun, looks away from the camera. She's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
She's hurt by Braun saying he doesn't care about her. But as we know, everything changes when it deals with the Fiend, which that will be alluded to later as well. Okay, here we go. We got Big E finally versus Morrison with Miz on commentary. And Morrison is fantastic. Now, the first segment is pretty good, but it is hindered by the fact that our faction, Retribution, is back. They have jumped people backstage.
Lock people in bathrooms, Kevin.
Yeah, that guy is going to sit there and smell his own poop.
For days.
They locked him in his bathroom.
Yeah.
They also seem to not be real happy with chairs or catering in general.
No, they're not happy with the catering.
They jump, looks like 4 refs, one random guy, and a guy on the can.
Yeah.
And then they spray paint a W with a line through there, the anti-W faction.
Yeah, they don't like W's, man.
No, they don't. And so Michaela is like in the fetal position, crouched down.
Yeah.
Luckily, nobody touches her.
No.
Interesting, though, because like there are like several women in the faction.
Yeah,
that could have done that.
It's like nobody noticed her.
Right, in her white and gold.
Yeah, it's almost like what was it? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, when the guys break into the dealer's house to steal their stuff, and there's the girl sitting on the couch, and she hasn't moved for like an hour of the movie, so you forget she's there, and then she just stands up with the machine gun. It's like, what? Who knew you were here?
Right. Back from commercial. Whoa. First of all, I'm sorry. The lights flicker, so they call all of the pro wrestlers from catering to the outside of the ring. So there's a somewhat of a lumberjack match, which of course, since they all came to the ring, the faction jumps catering.
Yeah.
And then once Cole and Stupid with Cole every week. What's his name? Corey Graves.
I'm just watching you sit here, Kevin.
Yes,
enjoying that.
Cole and Corey Graves tell everybody to run to the back now. They run to the back, which leaves the 2 people in the ring again, and they ask The Miz why he wouldn't run to the back, and he's like, Lord have mercy, they got 40 pro wrestlers in the back right now. If they can't take care of it, who can? I'm here with my buddy. Anytime Morrison wrestles, cool spots abound.
Dude.
A cool spot that didn't involve Morrison is where The Miz winds up getting between. Morrison's outside of the ring. Big E is walking around towards them. The Miz walks between them with his headset on, which allows him to pull the rope up between Big E's legs as Big E's trying to walk around. He gets his feet caught in the rope.
Yeah.
Giving Morrison time to get better. But that doesn't wind up helping. Actually, Morrison goes for what we think will be one of his many flippity-dippity things and gets hemmed up into Big E's submission. Winds up having to tap because joints being what they are, you don't want to be at that angle.
Yeah, the stretch muffler.
And I thought at first, well, Morrison could get out of anything. But by the same token, the way that hold is, the torque he'd have to put on his knee to rise out of that with one leg there. Could he do it? Maybe. Would that? No, that would hurt.
That would not feel good.
No, and so I get him tapping. And it made sense to me. Now, as Big E walks out of the ring, Sheamus kicks him between the eyes. Sheamus is on a roll, and now we have whom we think is the guy that they want to push, Big E, about to do something with Sheamus, who has been on a roll. And Sheamus could be the litmus test right now, because if we see Hardy gets into something with him, winds up fighting for a title. Could Big E get into something with him? It go for a moment.
Yeah.
And then maybe Big E gets that shot at Braun or Bray, depending on who winds up winning.
Or even AJ, maybe.
Right. Correct. It'd be exactly, because I don't think Hardy goes over. So it makes more sense that he goes with AJ and maybe does go over.
Yeah, I can see that.
Passes it back and forth with AJ for a minute.
Yes.
Now, Braun comes out, and nobody gets in Braun's way. He's bald now.
Mm-hmm.
Intimidating.
Very scary.
To be honest with you, nobody gets in Braun's way anymore.
No.
That's a lot to deal with. He comes to the ring. He's big mad. We go to commercial. He come back. He's screaming similar things to what he said last week about being
evil and...
Yeah, this is the best we've seen Braun.
Yes.
They because he's playing angry, you've been holding me down for too long guy dealing with this Fiend character. The scope of what he's allowed to, or what he needs to talk about, has been reduced.
Yes.
Allowing him to be focused and just angry and yelling, and it works for him. And it's much more intimidating than anything
he's
else
giant,
he's done. Right. And
crazy looking mountain man.
Right. And so then Bliss comes down to want to know.
Demand answers.
Yes. And that turns into her slapping the taste.
Boy, she smacked him like 5 or 6 times. Like, what?
Yes, yes. But the real takeaway here was Braun points out she needs to get away from him because everybody that comes in contact with the Fiend changes.
Mm-hmm.
You just come in contact with the Fiend.
Yeah, I don't trust you no more.
Correct. All right. And so then, of course, the lights begin to flicker. As she's been slapping him, he picks her up, lifts her above his head, acts like he's going to throw her somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he's evil now. He's told you he's evil. You didn't believe him.
Yeah.
Now he's picked up the 4'2" Bliss and is about to chunk her somewhere. And the lights go out as he's throwing her.
Yes.
When the lights come on, he's no longer in the ring.
The Fiend is there.
The Fiend is there. And Braun is laughing. The Fiend is laughing. We have a laugh off, which is much cooler than it sounds when I say it.
Yes.
Bliss is on the ground. Hurt, but not hurt.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if the footage they showed earlier where she gets on Braun's shoulders and jumps and does her twisted bliss onto somebody was a subliminal, it's okay if Braun drops her from that high. Because we've seen her jump from that high onto people. He's not really hurt.
No.
You know, and the lights flicker, alluding to there may have been a mat placed on the ground she could land on.
And the way he dropped her, he didn't chunk her, he just let her go and she just fell.
Right.
And she's a wrestler.
Right.
She can take a drop.
Correct. I mean, she literally did that bump worse, twisting and landing on a person.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show on film. So I almost think they did that for us. I love it.
Oh, I did.
I love it. And you know what I think is going to happen? And tell me if you like this, because I don't know if you will. I don't think the internet will like it. Bliss is going to cost Fiend the belt.
Oh, I can see that. I can totally see that.
Bliss is going to cost Fiend the belt because, and people are going to interpret it as that the Fiend showing some form of heart. Bliss is now one of the Fiend's creations.
Yes.
Just like Braun is. Just like Seth is. Like, I would never have a problem if Seth got into something and needed backup if the Fiend showed up on Monday Night Raw and had his back.
Yeah.
I created you.
Yes.
You know, if he did it with Daniel Bryan, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I created you. Mm-hmm. You came into a world with me, you became different. So if something happens and he doesn't allow, or he pays attention to her in a scenario, and that causes him to lose the match, again, one of those quick 1, 2, 3s, and he's okay on 4. Just like when he loses to Seth, and nobody ever wants to talk about the HIC match, but just like when he loses to Seth, everybody thinks he's dead, and he does the horror movie thing where he puts the claw on Seth when he's laying down. That style finish, obviously you want to do it differently, but I don't have a problem with it, but I know that the internet will probably react to it very much like they did with Seth and him.
Well, the Hell in a Cell problem was never the full match. It was you disqualified him in a no DQ match, or you ended it. Now, if he'd have pinned him under all those chairs and got in the 1, 2, 3, and then the hand comes up through the chairs and chokes you, I got no problem with that.
You wouldn't have had a problem with it. A lot of people still would have.
Well, of course they would have, but
now, what do you think about this finish? If they did it like I just said,
I can see myself. It depends on how they do it. Enjoying it. It could be her, like, actually, her and Braun had this thing cooked up, and this was their
See, that's even better. Because if her and Braun have this thing cooked up and then the Fiend figures that out, she can be in for a world of hurt and really become something different when this is over.
Yes.
As well as Braun could be in for more.
Yeah.
That could be the kind of thing where if they cook something up like that and he loses, then Braun thinks he gets to move into another program, somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's where the Fiend comes around and we get the belt off of him.
Yeah.
The Fiend gets the belt off of him, taking what he doesn't want. Then they go back into something
we got another pay-per-view a week later.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could do that week, 2 weeks. Now you got to face the Fiend with no humanity in him at all.
Right.
You know.
Right. Absolutely. Dude, it's the Fiend character to me is just, it's revolutionizing the way we talk about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're literally talking about it like I hate to say it, but how well do you remember Kevin Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay. He did a lot. I don't know how Kevin Sullivan, a lot of things have been said about him.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those angles, it was a lot harder to do what Kevin Sullivan's mind wanted to do.
Yes.
In an era where
cartoon characters.
Right. It couldn't look real.
Yeah.
It couldn't look like, and the Fiend doesn't look real, but it looks more legitimate now.
Yeah, he's scary. He's not.
Well, the other thing is too, the Fiend is supernatural, whatever. He's still just a creation of Braun's mind,
Bray Wyatt's mind,
and Bray, and you're seeing what he is creating in himself. You're in his world whenever he's around, right?
It's not like real. If you've seen the movie Split.
Absolutely.
He's the beast. He's the character. He's the the protector character is what he really is.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. You like?
I had a great time with it.
Great week, right?
Yeah. I thought Raw was better than it has been. Was it's still 3 hours and they got to fill junk segments. NXT was not as great as it usually is, but there were some good spots.
It was okay. Yeah. It was good.
And SmackDown was really good.
Yeah, SmackDown's becoming formidable.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with when it goes in lulls, Bray's not usually on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Big E getting the opportunity to, and that's one thing too. This company doesn't do well with tag teams. The only tag teams it has done well with lately were your New Day, Uso, Sheamus, and Cesaro, that kind of thing, right? They're having to kind of reboot that with New Day being out and the Usos being out, but it has allowed for Big E to get a run, which is interesting. Which we've all been saying
for years. You need to have.
Absolutely. Okay, so I had a great week. I appreciate you listening. Thank you. This is a Go Home Heat production, copyright 2020. Go home.